guys, it was a better showing than the last time you played Charlotte and on a big stage too. Were you happy with the way the team played, or was there things you wish you guys could have done differently?
Well, there's always things you go back and you want to do differently. I think we missed some bunnies, and I think we didn't do a good job offensive board-wise. I know they had 10 in the first half. I'm sure they had that in the second half. So that obviously came back to bite us. But I was really impressed with our effort. And like you said, we did a much better job the second time we played them than the first, even though it's on the road. I just liked our grit. You know, we just kept running back, and they'd get a lead and we'd come back at them. And I told our girls in the locker room, that's a credit to our girls' character. You know, the season didn't go as planned. We would have liked to have a better season, but these girls just kept fighting, and that just says a lot about the character.
Is Charlotte a team that you feel is capable of winning this whole thing too? I mean, everyone thinks Xavier is probably the favorite, but do you think Charlotte's capable of winning this tournament?
You know, the beauty of tournaments is anyone can win the tournament. You're at a neutral site, and you know, Xavier might be great, but they have to play the game. And sure, Charlotte's big enough and athletic enough. You know, come down to who stays out of foul trouble and who's got a good shooting day, and who wants it. You know, I really do think there's 5 teams in the top that could really knock anybody out. So it'll be an interesting tournament.
Was there any advantage for you guys coming in that you're the closest local team to this, this facility, and it was the shortest? I mean, did you feel like you guys might have a chance because it was so close and travel was a little shorter for you guys?
Well, I think anytime you don't have to get on a plane and you don't have to deal with all that stuff, it definitely is helpful. Certainly at this time of the year, everyone's kind of road weary.
Right.
So I do think it helped us a little bit, yes.
It seemed every time you guys made a run that Haley was what kind of stopped you. You got it down to her on the coast, and she just kind of stopped any kind of momentum you guys could gather.
Yeah.
Anything you could have done differently, you think, in hindsight?
It's pretty tough, you know, dealing with size like that. I think we'll go back and think of a couple things we should have done, if not necessarily maybe one particular thing, but change things up a little bit more. We stayed in different defensive sets longer than we probably should have, which allowed them to get into rhythm. But we went with what was working at the time. So, but as coaches, we'll always go back and wish we did a couple things differently. You even do that when you win games.
On the other end was Watson doing it for you guys inside. Obviously very successful in the post for you guys, but just not enough.
Yeah, we need a balanced attack. You know, it's hard to ask a kid like that to score down low, where she's really undersized. She did a phenomenal job. But, you know, we needed someone else to step up and give us those points, and that was tough. You know, our threes weren't going. We're usually a better three-point shooting team, but that happens.
Did you feel like,
made it more difficult for you too, because you took the post, you played a zone to take away the post game, they were getting the outside shot, so that's makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, we didn't anticipate having to play as much man as we did, because we just don't match up very well. So we were hoping that a variety of zones would do it for us, but once you start shooting like that, there's nothing else you can do but come out man.
I know it's your first year here, but it's the last game for some of these seniors. Can you talk about some of the contributions that they've made, even in the short time that you've been here?
what are your overall thoughts on
Oh yeah, I'll start with Cerie. I know Cerie very well. I recruited her when I was at Vermont, so we go way back. Thrilled I got the chance to coach her for 1 year. And the season's so long. 1 year is a good chunk of time, so you kind of get a good feel for these kids. Wish I had them all for 4. We'll miss them greatly when they go. But Cerie's given us effort. Always a great three-point shooter, but she's become a phenomenal rebounder this year. So that was great to add to her game. Meg Zulo is a phenomenal three-point shooter as well. Great leader. You know, distributes fairly well and does a good job of getting us into sets and stuff. And we'll miss her greatly as well. And Fran, Steph Lawrence, we call her Fran, just a great tweener. She does a little of everything for us, and she's had some key days where she was really key to our success, and today the matchups were a little off, but I love these seniors and we'll miss them greatly.
I know it's been a difficult year, and my condolences on the passing of your father, but can you summarize what this first season has been like?
Right.
Difficult comes to word. I think it's one of those seasons that you'll look back and it will define you. Like I said to the kids, it's really easy to be positive and happy and high-fiving when things are going your way. But we're defined by how we react when things aren't going our way. And I'm proud about how we all reacted.
Is this a season you can build off of moving forward?
Oh, certainly. We got some young kids that got better. Jazz is going to be a junior, so that's key. Shaq. Shaq's going to be a force when we work on our skill set a little bit. Kelly Robinson's only a freshman, and she's twice the player she was 2 months ago. So there's a lot to build on. Dee Montgomery's only a sophomore. Sarah's only a freshman. So there's a lot to build on. They obviously have key experience, and they'll help with the new recruits and explain the system to them. And it's always good when you end a year with a good fight like we had today with a lot of young kids on the floor. That just gives you hope for the future.
Charles had, I guess they gave you guys some tough matchups, man-to-man, just individual matchups, different.
Yeah, I think overall their athleticism definitely overwhelms ours. So that was tough from the get-go, but we weren't able to really handle that as well as we should have. But our game plan was good. It just wasn't executed not the way that it should be. So it was a tough day for us. Not meant to be.
They pulled away. You kind of crept back in. They pulled away. It was kind of like back and forth. But it just seemed like you guys needed one more mini run just to really get even with them.
Yeah, I think we really did. I mean, it also kind of seemed like we were down by a lot more than we were for a lot of the second half, it seemed like, and then you look up and you're only down by like 10, 15 points at the most. I really think our runs were good. We had good spurts, but we just weren't able to build on it, and then we kept trading baskets with them, which didn't help too. At that point, we really have to get stops, and if we're making baskets up on end, we got to get the stops together. So that was critical, and we weren't able to do that.
How tough was Haley in the post against you guys?
She was tough. Yeah, she was definitely a tough player and making a lot of shots, and that was the key difference. So they were making them. We weren't every time, and if we were, then we couldn't stop them. So that was difficult.
Talk about Jasmine's play today. She had 23, and I don't know what she ended up with boards. I mean, she was really effective on the post for you guys.
She was phenomenal. I mean, as of late, she's been playing really, really well for us, which also it's great for the team in the future because they're obviously going to be a phenomenal team with her as one of the critical pieces of that puzzle. But she's been playing really, really well, and they really couldn't stop her today. And she was a force. We needed more of us to be able to step up, and we weren't able to help her out as much as we needed to in order to get the win. But she did basically as much as she could have done for us. So.
Looks sad this is the end.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. A little bittersweet, but I don't know. Mostly not ready for it. So.
Gotta get out and get a job and stuff.
Something like that. But yeah, we'll see. It's sad. We wish we could have kept going longer. It's been a fun year.